Now, today about 800 migrants crossed the channel. Yes, that is 800 more people who accept annihilation except put nothing into our abridgment that we accept to clothe, feed, board, and entertain. Our infrastructure is already at breaking point, and we artlessly cannot allow it. Here's Justa's approach. We addled the returns adjustment with France, and notwithstanding the challenges to that scheme which you've apparent in the aftermost few days. A flight went off at 6:15 this morning auspiciously returning someone beneath that scheme. Yes, here's Donald Trump's approach. It doesn't bulk if you alarm out the military. It doesn't bulk what means you use, but its activity to abort it destroys countries from within. He's right, isn't he? Bring in the military. And by that, I don't mean accommodate them in aggressive bases. I gotta flame the added anniversary aback. I heard Defense Secretary John Healey broach the subject, but it angry outta what he meant was bringing them into military bases. He was talking about military giving up their dwellings, and many of which are not fit for purpose anyway, again accomplishing them up to accommodate these bodies, and again not bringing them in to assure our borders, which is what I was hoping. I'm alive carefully with the Home Office, and will do with the new Home Secretary to attending at the ambit for aggressive sites and non-milit aggressive sites to be the places area we can house some of the cover seekers, some of the immigrants. In the future. Oh, great. So, let them appear come across my bedimmed, and again acquisition somewhere to put them. I mean, what is the point of this? Instead, we accept a one-in one-out scheme which afterwards declining appeals, we laughably accelerate additional casual aback and then a third one additionally larboard today. And it turns out that Sake Starr's friend, the Attorney General, Lord Hermier, who oversees the Crown Prosecution Service or the CPS and the Serious Fraud Office, which is the SFO, whose admiral include providing acknowledged and action admonition to the government and can accredit disproportionately lenient sentences of the cloister of appeal and initiate antipathy of cloister proceedings or admission accord for certain prosecutions, amid in cases where the accessible absorption is at stake, particularly apropos charities and government litigation. Well, that guy gave chargeless acknowledged admonition in 2019 to a charity that helps migrants to fight deportation from Britain. Great. That was some time ago, but doesn't it raise questions about whether he's able to work in our interests? You couldn't make this up. There is one bit of acceptable news, though. For the actual Aboriginal time, migrants' accession via Baby Bader will be detained and alternate to France in short order. Really? Well, let's see if that comes with a caveat. Will this latest batch who accustomed afterwards Sake Starr said that will they be detained? Don't authority your breath. Right. Let's get our Aboriginal question. Your name is Kamari. Kamari. And what's your question? Why military? I anticipate its badge forces should be abundant because French police armament there all the time. Nothing happened. They do nothing. So badge force our British police forces can apply there and they can work for that. So what your adage is, why can't we use the British agents in France, rather like we do and Kalala back people go beyond to France in an Aleora, or whatever? Yeah, acceptable question. Let's go to Barry Gardiner. We'll start with you first. Able-bodied in actuality, the joint or the administrator of the UK Joint Forces above administrator Sir Richard Burns addressed the catechism that President Trump aloft about the military, and he said there was very little that they could add to what the border force currently are doing. But you apperceive aback you agitate easily with the baby kisser, you should consistently count your fingers afterwards. Because I heard what President Trump said, and he's fabricated a absolutely big deal about how he deports actionable migrants. So I arrested with the Department of Homeland Security, and I got the monthly breakdown for Trump's accomplished Aboriginal term. In absolute, over the 4 years, he deported 2.1 million actionable undocumented migrants. Joe Biden, bethink him? Sleepy Joe, deported 4.6 million, added then alert as abundant as Trump. And how abounding appear in Larry? And how abounding appear in beneath bottom? Actually, the abstract's backward the same. There were 1111 actor undocumented migrants in the U.S. appealing much throughout the accomplished time of the accomplished 15 years. And if I can aloof accomplishment even Barack Obama, If you attending it years ago, we're talking about now, are we going to alive? And what we're aggravating to do is we're trying to say, except the guy who's got a track record illegal, the clue almanac of Trump is not to have done the things that he says he was going to do. All right. So, a not Trump 2.0, illegal migration is bottom-ward by 97% in the USA, and it's never been lower, and that's because Trump did whatever it takes. I don't know why we can't stop these dinghies. Basically, they're abyss in flip-flops blame dinghies into the sea. They're not James Bond villains, but somehow they accumulate artifice our border control. So, yes, we do charge the military because what the aggressive has, they accept drones. They accept military capability. They can escort them back to France. And an absolute mutual accord would have been the accord amid France and England. We say you booty back your migrants. Not a one-in area France gets a veto who we accelerate back to, and we get none. That's such a anemic agreement. It's about an embarrassment. And the actuality that Shaban Mahmoud had the audacity to do a video was about like a satire from Splitting Image. We are, we're in control. We've beatific one back. You're like, are you for real? Bags of it's basically 3 out and 5,000 inches. No, it was never meant to be anything other than a pilot scheme. And everybody knows that it was a pilot. The aforementioned as Rwanda, and they laughed that out. They said, oh, Rwanda hasn't got the capacity.
Rwanda finished.
Rwanda hasn't got the accommodation to take everybody. Oh, no. You alone get a couple of hundred there. It'll be full. And the abstraction was with Rwanda, was a similar concept to this one out that you'd actually aggrandize it gradually. This one in, one out, 800 came in. We've had 3 goats. 700 actor Rwanda. Rwanda volunteers back. It was a deterrent. Rwanda million. Let me aloof I'm activity to go off on one actuality, because this country is in crisis. We charge to alarm a national emergency. Labour MPs like Barry and abounding MPs in Parliament do not apprehend the damage that actionable clearing is accomplishing to our communities. I'm sitting actuality livid because in Epping I've been protesting because a 14-year-old babe was sexually assaulted by a casual in our town. Also, we've had this anniversary a homeless asylum seeker. He has been begin on 2 school area this anniversary, and he has been seen al fresco abundant others. We are petrified in Essex, in Lawn, Chigwell, Epping because of these illegal immigrants. We do not apperceive anything about them what they've done in the past. As Barry said, we've had, I think, 6,000 and now 3 out on this scheme. It's laughable. It's authentic PR, and it's so that these MPs in Labour can say, look what we're accomplishing to get the headlines. They do not care when they're accomplishing nothing. Illegal clearing does not affect the likes of Barry Karma in their town. It is bodies like us that are seeing our daughters' nonsense. It is bodies like us that are seeing abduction accomplished speakers in my constituency than you have. Then why don't you action for your constituents angry for your party? How dare you? How do you accept what they think? Stop arena affair backroom and take care of your constituents. They voted for you to assure you, not to brown nose to star. Do you apperceive how abounding times they voted for me? Aloof, let me acknowledgement you. Let me acknowledgement you. You apperceive how abounding times my constituents have voted for me? They've voted for me 8 times in 28 years. In 28 years. So don't acquaint me, I don't action for my constituents. It's altered times now. Barry, we are seeing rapes, sexual assaults, pedophilia from bodies that should not be in this country. Adam, we are seeing convicted. Majority of migrants aren't like that, but let's all appropriate all right. All right. All right. All right. Let's aloof like we're not activity to get anywhere if we're all just like hollering at anniversary other.
Sorry.
I'm aloof like a let them talk but go on. What are you going to say? I appetite to actual you Barry, because yes there were some appropriate bulk of deportations beneath Joe Biden, but there were absolutely 8 actor migrant encounters civic during his time in office. 6.7 actor were at the southwest bound, and 1.7 actor of them actually got abroad, and that they've never been begin since. So I don't anticipate you can aloof point to Joe Biden as an example of success. And I aloof appetite to make that bright to alpha with. Look, the reason that this doesn't accomplish any sense, and the acumen why I anticipate we charge to sort of try and agitation this in a way that is activity to absolutely appear up with solutions, is that it's aloof arrested to think that a bridle will be to tell the bodies that appear that you ability get sent back to the country that you've come from. Like, again, what's the point in not trying? If your activity to be sent to Rwanda or a third country or somewhere that's far away, again, fine. A migrant ability try and say, well, I ability not cantankerous again, because I won't end up in the UK. But if the worst that's activity to appear to you is that you don't end up in the UK, but you end up a back area you started in France, well again you would accord it a go. But Chris, sorry. No, not 1 second. I had absolutely started answering. He batten already. That's okay. Okay, we'll appear back to him. Laila, aloof say the allotment of those actuality beatific back is about at this amount is about 97% are staying. So, who wouldn't booty there? Well, I'll accord you the percentage. I'll give you the percentage. So, out of the 30,000 that accept beyond the channel this year so far, by sending a back 3, that equates to 0.00. Well done. No, I appetite to appear back, Barry.
Yeah.
Look, the abstracts that you quoted, Christo, don't booty account of the actuality that the absolute undocumented migrants in the United States, total undocumented migrants through the period for the accomplished 15 years except been 11 million a year. Now, back we're talking about what we're accomplishing with the one and own out policy. It is simply a pilot policy. And the point of it is it's the Aboriginal time back Brexit, actually, because of advance in those days we were able to accelerate bodies back, but France would accept taking them under the 27 altered countries. We can't do that now because of Brexit.
Okay.
And it's additionally abominably for those who abutment reform, it's additionally reforms. Policy that says yes, get the naval boats in the access, and advance them back to France. So to say sending them back to France isn't absolutely activity to make any difference. It's a deterrent. Barry, saying it's you say it's activity to make any difference. It hit in Greece and Australia, France. You can't criticize our action for sending them back to France back. It's absolutely the aforementioned as Europe. No, not if they don't accomplish it assimilate UK soil. 1 second. 1 second. 1 second. Do you anticipate those arriving? So we apperceive now that a terrorist, a convicted bomb maker from Egypt was allowed into our country, a terrorist. How abounding added terrorists accept accustomed in this country? Is the government keeping track? Do they accept any abstraction area they are? And this is a civic emergency. We accept terrorists on our soil. And what is the point of activity through Heathrow? Why would any agitator bother? They just jump on a bedimmed, and you apperceive what? It's affirmed entry. Can I point out, do you anticipate they should be housed in and amidst us or in detention center? Can I point out, do you anticipate they should be housed in detention centers? Can I point if you let me acknowledgement you? I'm actual blessed to do it, but you accept to accord up to Adam. And again, I aloof point out to you that actually most of the terrorists who accept been in this country accept been homegrown. They've developed up here. Let added in. No, I didn't say that. Well, but you're acting as if terrorists alone appear beyond in small boats. I'm acting that is right. Aloof quickly, we can array this out. Starman knows we can array this out. Greece except started detaining illegal immigrants in their country. They action them tense. They threaten them with 5-year Bastille sentences. Suddenly, the numbers aggravating have collapsed. If we do articles similar here, that would additionally happen. But we have an animal rights advocate as our prime minister, and he's never activity to offer them a tent. So they appear actuality and know their activity to get a birds fed 3 times a day and added rights than local residents as the government's own lawyers accept declared in court. It is a disgrace, and it is on purpose. Okay. Aloof, actual quickly. Firstly, there is an aberration between someone accession actuality and actuality deported back to France on the off adventitious, and someone actuality angry a back center across, and not authoritative it to British soil. Secondly, the abstraction of border force actuality, the way in which this should be addressed. Bound force actually bring migrants to the UK back they find them in the water. In Australia, they had dejected sky thinking. They angry them back or they took them to offshore processing centers. It's those sorts of tactics we charge to be cerebration about. We've run out of time on.